Welcome to Chef Academy. I'm Brigitte Foisy, Vice President of Chefs Canada, and today I'm turning the table again to talk pots and pans with our own Chef Romain Avril. Welcome to my kitchen.
Thank you for having me once again.
Let's jump right into this topic. There's no way around it. Kitchen equipment is expensive. We were at Garden Canada and I saw those price tags, and last month when I was in Tokyo I saw knives up to $1,000, but I guess since it's your day-to-day work, quality is key to maximize your investment, and I'm assuming it's the same when it comes to cookware.
Absolutely. Like generally speaking, in the world of cookware, I would say the adage rings true. You get what you paid for. At home, like in a restaurant, top priorities are to buy pots and pans that have great quality for optimal durability, of course, but also that have great connectivity. I think that's something we'll talk about a lot today. The hand feel too. They have to feel right, they have to do good weight, and in some case, of course, aesthetics.
Okay, so let's talk about each of those points, starting with quality, which I assume is synonymous with material used to create the actual cookware.
The quality is almost always proportionate to the cost, unfortunately. However, if you choose well and take proper care of it, you can have cookware for a lifetime. It's almost like your knives. The best cookware brands are committed to craftsmanship, and I think that's also very important to pay attention to.
What are the differences in materials of restaurant cookware, obviously, available out there?
Well, most restaurants actually already are using stainless steel for its great conductivity, but there are a level of quality when it comes to balancing the metal and the different products that features various layers of metal, anywhere from 1 to 5 usually. That's kind of like what we have in the market. Some with the addition of copper, we'll talk about that, but to find the cookware that is right for you, you must first look at what you're cooking. That's very key. You know, like every pan has a job. The material of your cookware will factor into what you can add to cooking it. For example, uncoated cast iron is not the best suited for acidic foods like citrus or wine. You also cannot really boil water in a pan because it will rust. You should therefore consider like what you like to cook most often. Like, do you like finding yourself cooking a lot of lean protein indoor, like your chicken, your steaks, etc.? Or if so, we'll probably get a good use of your cast iron cookware, which of course we know that they withstand high heat. It's probably the one that you can really crank it up and even make a pizza instead of it. On the other end, if you cook more soups and stews, stainless steel pots might be where you want to invest more of your money. Although I myself use stainless steel for most of my cooking, from searing a fish, a steak, even in pastry, and even cook my eggs actually, because we can cook eggs in stainless steel.
What is the next thing to consider on your list?
I think it's important to consider your source of heat. Do you have an electric, a gas, an induction cooktop? Is it glass? Are you afraid of scratching it? If you have an induction cooktop, like most people now, you have no choice but to look for compatible pots and pans. Luckily, most of the cast iron are naturally compatible, so you don't have to think of that too much. And good quality stainless steel will mostly do as well.
So, okay, now let's talk stainless steel, since I know most restaurants use this type of pan.
Absolutely. It is important to know that not all stainless steel pans are equal. They look the same, but they're not. My brand of choice, and I think I'm not wrong when I say that, it's a preferred brand from most cooks and chefs, is All-Clad. I think it's a dream come true when we have one. Now, even within their collection, there's also differences. For example, let's pay attention to the two pans we have in front of us. One is the D3, which is this guy, and one is the D5. Both are favorites among chefs, but even if they look alike and they have the same layering base, the D5 offers an extra 2 layers. One aluminum and one stainless steel to even better heat distribution, and that's what really makes it important. You're gonna be able to sear multiple items with the same consistency, for example. The other difference resides in the construction of the core of the pan. The D3 has an aluminum core, while the D5 here alternates both metal to feature a stainless steel core, which offer often heat and fantastic conductivity. But I have to admit, All-Clad's new graphite core technology has become my very favorite, as we know, I've talked about it. It has a stainless steel interior, making it ultra durable and perfect for searing. A second and fourth layer of aluminum for rapidly heat up the pan, and a core made of graphite which is ultra conductive, while providing uniform heat spread in the pan, and that's really what caught my attention when I first used it.
I heard about 18.0, 18.8, 18.10 stainless steel. What does that mean?
Yeah, it might be confusing. So that refers to the grade of stainless steel. 1810 stainless steel is the better choice. It contains 18% chromium and 10% nickel that make it rust-proof and allow the cookware to hold polish well. It can also hold its own in high temperature, earning it another point for use within the food and restaurant industry. And that's very similar to also cutlery, something you want to look at in the cutlery you have at home, and you're going to be able to find those patterns. So 1810 usually kind of like the gauge you want to be at. Underneath that, you can have more scratches, it's gonna bend more. So there's little things like this that we pay attention, because over time, it will look like you have a cheaper type of product, and it will show very quickly. You may have been to a restaurant, like IKEA, for example, and you're gonna see the cutlery, it's all scratched up, and every time it goes into the machine, it's gonna happen. So if you have a fancier type of dining, you definitely wanna make sure that your stuff is spot on, and also show a good reflection of who you are as a restaurateur.
Okay, let's talk about weight. How is that an important factor for you as a chef?
That is probably one of the most important factors and often overlooked. I personally broke my wrist when I was a teen, so it's rather difficult for me to maneuver heavy pots, and long period of time we have to use our body, which can make it super dangerous. So I choose these two pots for the demonstration, graphite core versus copper core. So the aluminum is light and easy to handle. Stainless steel falls somewhere in the middle as usual. Cast iron is the heaviest of all materials. Now, the graphite collection is the most comfortable pot for me to use. The graphite bottom, which actually can really be bent like aluminum or stainless steel, will offer an incredible speed of heating and an incomparable precision. And of course, lightness that make it comfortable to handle. It's also energy efficient for using lower heat settings. Preheats quickly to save time, which we all need, so it cools rapidly as well for easy cleanup. Now we do have the copper core, and let me tell you, this is like crème de la crème when it comes to quality. It is much heavier though and harder for me to manipulate, but it is delivering the most precise heat and cooking given the addition of copper layer in between the aluminum and the stainless steel. This is something I highly recommend for pastry, chefs and associates as well that need that precision cooking.
Interesting. So what would be your tip for buying new cookware for a restaurant?
And that's a question we do get asked a lot.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as all-purpose cookware. Each operation in the kitchen calls for a particular type of cookware. Frying pans for sauteing, stock pots for stocks and soups, saucepans for almost everything else. Smaller or larger volume of food are going to need smaller or larger pots of pans. I mean, you're not gonna heat up a liter of soup in a 5-liter pot, so you wanna make a list before you actually start to buy. I know we all have different budget also, depending on the operation we are running, so look at where you can actually spend. Maybe something you need the most of is the D3s we talked about and the D5s. Then you'll need a few graphites for your searing and precision cooking, so that will be more like service time. And for the sous chefs, so we are now in like an elite restaurant, you'll only need as many copper core as the amount of sauce. And for pastry, 3 or 4 should be doing the tricks, because of course we have to remember that someone is washing the pots and pans as you go, so you can recycle them. You will also need a few non-stick for your egg cookery or fish if that's how you roll. And of course, we can still do it in the stainless steel, but it works. But you don't buy your pans before you have written your menu. You can easily calculate what you need based on the dishes that you created and their popularity as well compared to others. So you do have to do that background work and always menu first, and then you see what you need.
I know the D3 is actually, I think, the cookware of choice from Chef Alex Chen in Vancouver that talked to me about All-Clad. So
there you go.
Great. Thank you, Chef, for this input. That was very valuable information, especially for young chefs, for people who are updating their cookware in their restaurants. And because it is your favorite, All Clad has given us one 10-piece set of their new graphite core collection to give away. So you have a chance to win this collection by checking the link entry form in our bio. The winner will be announced during the holidays. As always, if you'd like to host one Chef Academy class, just message us and or visit our website at chefscanada.com. See you next month.
See you next month.